all, there's going to be one of these days that will top it all. Heaven's Jubilee. Number 97. Our missionary is here tonight. We have another missionary with us tonight, brother. We're glad to have you with us. Amen. Brother Daniel, second. Brother Weed. Glad to have you. Amen. Number 97, Jesus.
All around.
Love that song. Psalms 48. Great is the Lord. Great to be Revelation 4:11. Revelation 4:11, thou art worthy. Oh Lord.
Amen. Just a couple of announcements going on with the youth, and it's good that we got things going on. June 25th, it's not this coming Tuesday, but following Tuesday, we're going to be singing at Pine Valley Baptist Church. We'll be leaving here at 6 o'clock. June 29th, that will be the last Saturday this month. I take them to it every year up in Helen. This year we're going to, and once we go to it, Brother Eddie, we're going to stay that night. We're going to grill out, have fellowship together. And Sunday morning, we're going to go to church with Mark Stroud. Amen. Tony Shirley will be there to preach, and the youth choir will probably sing a couple of songs. Amen. And also the Friday night kickoff, it's actually like a fired up Friday night youth meetings we're doing on Friday nights. It started this past Friday. It's every Friday throughout the whole summer. And Mike has got some wonderful preachers coming every Friday. Everybody's allowed to come, but we really want the youth to come. So everybody else, adults, you are more welcome to come. What time? 6:30? 6:30 this coming Fridays. Most times we ain't got nothing to do on Friday anyway. So Friday, 6:30. Because if you weren't here this Friday night, you actually really missed it. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen again this Friday, my guess. So we're going to actually have it in the sanctuary. We had almost 80 people up there this Friday, and so we're going to do it right here. So if you ain't got to do this Friday, come join us. Thank you.
Amen. Good to see everybody in church tonight. Y'all glad you're saved. Say amen. Let me just reiterate the Friday night deal. I was here for the Bible school commencement on Friday night, and I told Miss Irene I'd run the sound up there. But I seen all them kids, and I thought, I got to hear a little bit of this. And they just flat out had the church up there. And it was packed out. What a blessing. Amen. So I'm excited. Who's preaching this coming Friday? Brother Larry, we're great. Man, that'll be a blessing. Hallelujah. So, you ought to get in on them meetings if you can. You need to get all of it you can. I ain't never met anybody that heard too much preaching. I never met anybody that was just in church too much. Amen. They used to tell my mama when we was growing up, they said, you're gonna keep making them kids go to church every time the doors is open, they're gonna grow up and hate it. I hate it so much I go about every day. Amen. Amen. Seriously, pray for us this week. I'll be at Springdale Baptist Church right here in Rockmart, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Brother Sam Leggett is the pastor. He hasn't been there very long, and really thrills me when I get to preach somewhere local. I ain't got to get on an airplane. I just drive down the road. Amen. And that's going to be a blessing. But listen, Wednesday night we're going to carry our service. Wednesday night we won't be here. We'll be at Springdale Baptist Church. So Google it, whatever. I need you to show up, and then we need the Lord to show out. And we'll combine that choir, I think, like we did this morning, maybe, and sing Behold Our God, and I'll praise Him, and who knows what else. We'll just go have need. Amen. And I really want to be a blessing to that church. Is what I want to do. When we do things local like this, I would love for you to catch a little bit of my burden and why I travel and why I go preach. Usually I'm there for one or two reasons: to help the preacher or to help the church. Sometimes it winds up as both. But I really want to be a blessing to this church. Amen. So hope you show up Wednesday night and go with us. They do start at 7 o'clock, so don't forget about that. And Brother Daniel Sanders, it is good to have you. He just slipped in with us tonight. He is a missionary. He's an evangelist to Central America. And boy, there's part of the world that needs evangelizing. That's it right there. Boy, we'll be praying for you, brother. It's good to have you. Good to have the fellow helping Brother Jack. I forgot your name. Jay McElwain. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Say it last name again. McElwain. Did I say it right? Okay. Us Southern people get them Yankee names all messed up. I kid, brother. It's good to have you and your son, your precious wife. Appreciate y'all being here. This guy has signed up for Mission Impossible. He has signed up to help Jack Patterson. The man in whom for which there is no help. We love Brother Jack. We just give him a hard time every time we can. Amen. What a blessing. It's good to have Brother Kent LeBeau with us again tonight. Now, they just got back from Boston. Is that right? Just doing street work and handing out tracts. He was telling me about it this morning. Had a great time. Makes people mad. Usually when you preach the gospel, you will. But appreciate Brother LeBeau. We just took him on. Was it last Sunday night or Sunday night before last? Sunday night before last. And man, it's an honor to have him with us. And this probably y'all be leaving out this week, preacher. Okay, man, it's been good to have you. We love you, and thank God for the fellowship. Amen. So let's see. I'm only going to make one announcement, and I want to push this the barbecue sale, the Boston Butts, and the ribs. Really, we took a lick on all these air conditioners and the water line. We spent about $30,000 on this building in the last couple of months, and it's just really took a. I mean, we ain't broke. We still got lights, and the air's still blowing. But we need some. If you could sell them Boston Butts and help recruit some of that, that'd be a blessing. Amen. So anyway, don't forget about that. It's going to be on July the 4th. Is that when you cooking, Brother Stacy?
We're starting on the 3rd.
Starting on the 3rd.
And cooking every how many they sell.
You got it. You got it. Sell them. Amen. What a blessing. All right. Well, let's have our ushers right quick. Brother Stacy, you guys come. What a sweet service this morning, wasn't it? Amen. Good liberty to preach, man. I'm telling you what. Sometimes I travel and preach, and I come back here and I feel like Dorothy. There's just no place like home, amen. What a blessing. We're in for a treat tonight. I know it's Father's Day and all that good stuff, but we got a lot going on. We're going to have the youth choir come up and sing a couple here in just a minute. And then it's a blessing to have Brother Andrew and Miss Mary Beth Jones with us. We met them, Brother Charles and I and our wives met them up in Maryland this past year in December, and then got to be with them again in Alabama. And they were in Levi this morning. And I told you you'd get a blessing tonight. I promise you you will. They're like us. They're real. They didn't come to put on a show or a performance. They come to worship. Amen. So I'm looking forward to that. And we're baptizing. So got a lot to do tonight. Amen. So we'll try to get it done in a timely order, but we just want to mind the Lord and let Him have His way. Amen. Well, let's bow our heads. We'll go to the Lord in prayer. And I'm going to ask Brother Drew. Brother Drew, ask the Lord to bless our offering.
Lord, I come to you tonight. I just want to thank you for the day that you have given us, Lord, and just all the fathers that you have put in everyone's lives, Lord, and just, I thank you for the service that you allowed us to have this morning, and just the way that you showed up and showed out, Lord. And I ask that you just fill this room tonight with your presence, Lord, and just show out this morning, Lord. And I ask that you just be with us all tonight and just keep us all safe. And please show the protection around this church tonight as we have service, Lord. And I just ask that you just be with us, Lord, and I ask that you Lord, precious name. Amen.
preaching on it. May do it sometime, but saying nobody really called God Father until Jesus did. And after Jesus did, his disciples said, Lord, would you teach us to pray? He said, when you pray, pray our Father. There's 3 kids on this planet that call me Father. But because of Jesus and what he did, we all get to call him Father. If we trusted him as our Savior. What a blessing, amen. Nobody could call him that till Jesus came. Amen. Hallelujah. Let's stand our feet tonight. Good singing, kids. Y'all come on down. Turn around and shake somebody's hand. Tell them it's good to see them in church tonight. Amen. Amen. Let's get us a Let's get a seat tonight. Now this is Brother Andrew and Miss Mary Beth Jones. They've got a precious little baby boy back there in the nursery. Got another one on the way, and they're just a blessing. Now all of y'all are familiar with the Rochesters. We have the Rochesters at least once a year. And, I don't know if you know Brother Ben and Miss Becky's older brother. His name's Brady. I don't know if you ever met Brady. They haven't been here, but I've been with them several times. This is their daughter and her husband. And they just started traveling together by themselves just last year. Just have gotten started in the ministry, and the Lord's really using them. And listen, we've already been worshiping tonight, and it's been good. And I promise you, it won't scare them a bit. If you shout or you come to the altar or you run a lap, you ain't going to bother them. Amen? Amen. I like what Brother Tony said about Uncle Bud Robertson. The statement he made, I don't care how loud you shout or how high you jump, as long as you walk straight when you hit the ground. I thought that was pretty good. Amen. So let's just mind the Lord for a little while tonight. Amen. God go ahead.
Y'all took my sound away. Thanks for letting us come in with y'all, bro.
Do you know how it feels to know something's missing and you're still a small voice that you just keep dismissing? Do you know how it feels to feel trouble inside and think just for you all across someone died?
Do you know how it feels when he wants to surrender, have your sins washed away, never to be remembered, and know that it's real? Tell me, do you know how it feels?
How does it feel to know you're a child of the King? Heavenly Father owns everything. How does it feel to know you are loved by the one who created the stars up above? And how does it feel to know you're alright? You lay your head on your pillow each night and know that it's real. Tell me, do you know how it feels? Do you know how it feels when your cold heart is melting and the tears started flowing? The moment you felt it, do you know how it feels? So now you've been changed and it seems like the whole world has been rearranged.
Know how it feels wherever you roam, you still get a feeling if you're not at home, knowing heaven is real. Tell me, do you know how it feels?
How does it feel to know you're a child of the King? Heavenly Father owns everything. How does it feel to know you are loved by the one who created the stars up above? And how does it feel to know you're alright? You lay your head on your pillow each night and know that it's real. Tell me, do you know how it feels? How does it feel to know you're a child of the King? Heavenly Father owns everything. How does it feel to know you are loved by the one who created the stars up above? And how does it feel to know you're alright? You lay your head on your pillow each night and know that it's real. Tell me, do you know how it feels? And to know that it's real, tell me, do you know how it feels?
Do a song the Lord gave me a couple years ago. It's a very simple song. It just says He's been far better than I deserve. It's a testimony of mine. Tells you how I feel the Lord's been to me. Who is man that you are mindful of us? What would cause to hear my plea. How could the God of all heaven and earth ever care for someone like me? You have sealed me with your love. All my sins are covered by your blood. You saved me, forgave me, you changed my whole world. You've been far better than I deserve. You've been far better than I deserve. You have given me my heart's desires, a wife, a family, a home. All my needs you have supplied. So many blessings you have bestowed. I am so undeserving of this life you've given to me. You allow me to worship, you allow me to serve. You've been far better than I deserve. You've been far better than I deserve. And as if loving me wasn't enough, you have gone to prepare me a place. There your glory will be revealed, and I shall look on your face. How could a holy God accept a sinner like me? You changed my forever, and hell I'll never learn. You've been far better than I deserve. 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 He walks among us, and all that he does, all of his mercy, and all of his life. The pen of the writer could write every day, not even his words could ever contain how I have been blessed.
Morning and winter, and flowers in spring, laughter in summer, and the changing of leaves, food on my table, and a good place to sleep. Lord, of my life, choose all I need. I have been blessed. I have been blessed. God is so good to me. Precious are his thoughts of you and me. No way I could count them, there's not enough time. So I'll just thank him for being so kind. God has been good, so good. I've been arms that can raise, and a voice that can talk, hands that can touch, legs that can walk, ears that can listen, and eyes that can see. Oh, I'm gonna praise you as long as I breathe, 'cause I have been blessed. We live in a country where it is hard. Our blessings far feet, our body is warm. She stepped in the harbor, just liberty calm. All the clear sound of the sun could be all for me to believe in.
made, a pastor to lead us, an altar to pray, strife that can heal, blood that still saves. Oh, I have been blessed.
He's my shoulder to lean on. The rock where He leads me when I'm overwhelmed. That place that He hides me. His wind is not just a song, it's the reason I sing. Oh, I have been blessed. God is so to me. Precious are His thoughts of you and me. No way I could count. There's not enough time. So I'll just thank Him for being so kind. God has been good, so good. I've been blessed. God has been good, so good. We have been
You and Rowan over there, you said something about the Lord being good, not because He's good to us, which He is, but He's just good just because He's always been that way. He was good long before the angels ever sang worthy to Him, and He's good long before we ever give credit to Him. And I think this song does a pretty good job of giving praise. I wish I had the body to do it. I wish I could give Him the praise He's deserving of. Won't get that till we get to heaven. This old flesh gets wore out sometimes, but we try to do our best.
when I look at the heavens and all your handiwork, I say, how excellent is your name in all the earth.
everybody here got to see our son Jaden, but he's in a nursery, probably coloring on the walls or something back there. We love him. But he's born and he has Down syndrome. And brother, you don't mind me telling you, we had it until after he was born. He's our firstborn, so it was very unexpected for us. And they give us a book of things that could be wrong with him, some very scary stuff. And thank the Lord, nothing was wrong with him, and he's a healthy little baby, and the Lord's grace was sufficient through it. But at the time, it was very hard for us as new parents and parents in general. I guess it'd be hard for us, even if it hadn't. But anyway, I wrote a song to the Lord. I hope it's a blessing. He's the best that ever happened to me. It's not what I expected at all. It didn't fall into my plans. The dreams that I had dreamed would pass away unseen and just slip right through my hands. I prayed for what seemed like forever, but your answer was no. And although I don't understand it, Lord, I want you to know you're still the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. And I still love you with all of my heart. Your ways are always perfect. You know just what I need. You're still the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. Who am I to say you've been unjust? And how could I complain that life's not fair? 'Cause if I got what I deserve, receives his wages I have earned, I'd be lost for all eternity. So if you never bless me again, I'd still choose you 1,000 times and 1,000 times again. You're still the greatest thing that's ever happened to me, and I still love you with all of my heart. Your ways are always perfect. You know just what I need. You're still the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. You've been too good to me for me to think of walking away. Your grace has been sufficient, and your love has never wavered. So I'll lift my hands and praise you, 'cause you've been so good to me. And you're always gonna be the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. And I sure love you with all of my heart. Your ways are always perfect. You know just what I need. You're still the greatest thing. You're still the greatest thing. You're still the greatest thing that's ever happened to me.
together and say God's been good? I don't care who you are, you've had some bad days, sure up time. I like that little phrase when I tell you, I said, through it all. Through it all, God's been good. Amen. Even when I thought He walked away and left me, He never did. He was there. Lord bless Him. Genesis chapter number 13 tonight. Genesis chapter number 13. I told Brother Charles while they were singing that song, how excellent is thy name in all the earth. I told Brother Charles, I said, I bet you I know who's enjoying that tonight. The Lord. Amen. I imagine that about the time she opens her mouth and starts singing that, when the Lord turns to those angels and says, y'all listen a minute. They're singing my song. Amen. Amen. Because He's worthy to be praised. Amen. If we like getting praised, we're proud. And that's a sin. Is that right? But we're not worthy of praise, but He is worthy. Amen. Genesis chapter number 13. I don't even know if we'll really preach tonight. I do want to share this thought with you. I told the kids I read a story to them at camp and preached a little short message about a young man by the name of Amnon. And the Bible said that Amnon, I told them it was one of the saddest stories in the Bible. Amnon had a sister who was fair to look upon. And I'm trying to say this the best way I can. Amnon had a thing for his sister. But he knew in his heart that it was wrong to do anything to her. But the Bible said, but Amnon had a friend whose name was Jonadab. And that one friend, I told the kids, we always warn you about running with the wrong crowd. It wasn't a crowd, it was one guy. Amnon had a friend. Just one guy wrecked and ruined his life forever. And he wound up raping his own sister. Pretty sick, isn't it? Well, the story I'm about to read to you is worse than that. In Genesis 13, on up through around chapter 20, we've got a story about two men, one by the name of Abraham and the other by the name of Lot. As far as I can tell, they're both saved men. They both knew God. They were part of the same family. Lot was Abraham's nephew. They had the same background. They had the same lineage. They had been around the same stuff, but their lives turned out totally different. We know Abraham as Father Abraham. The father of the nation of Israel. That's who we know him. We know Abraham as the great matriarch. But then Lot, he's known for something worse than being with his sister. He's known for being with his dog. Having children by them and his wife being turned into a pillar of salt. And you can go on and on and on, but I just thought about the contrast between these two men and it being Father's Day. Did you know, boys, look up here. You ain't daddies yet, you ain't husbands yet, but listen to me. You can sit in the same room together, hear the same things, enjoy the same blessings, shout the same shout, come to the altar, cry crocodile tears, and your lives turn out totally opposite. Totally opposite. I've always wondered, Brother Freddie, why we're sitting in church and everybody's seeing the same thing and hearing the same thing and they're in the middle of the same thing, but yet they react so different. Why people's lives turn out the way they do when they could have been so different. Lot did pretty well as long as he was under Uncle Abraham's wing. Ain't no doubt they sacrificed together, they worshiped together. The Lord blessed them. We're going to read that in just, I ain't read the Bible yet, have I? I will, I promise. We'll get there. This young man had every opportunity to be a success in life, monetarily and spiritually. You get an Abraham in your life, it's best you stay pretty close. Can I say that again? God gives you an Abraham in your life, a spiritual leader. It's best you stay as close to him as you can. Amen. Lot did fine until he had to separate himself from his Uncle Lot. And I was going to give you 4 thoughts tonight that I think makes a difference between how these two men's lives turned out. Now, I don't know about you, my son's sitting here tonight. I'd like for his life to turn out like Abraham. I had 3 grandsons up here behind this microphone singing tonight. I'd like for their lives to turn out like Abraham. If there's some way that I can run intervention, or I'm trying to think of the right word, if I can get between them and their lives turning out like Lot's, I'll do everything I can. Amen. They've got every opportunity to do right. But guess what? Even in a great church, you've still got the opportunity to do wrong. Amen. Some of the wickedest kids I've ever known were in a Christian school. I'm for a Christian school. I'm not against it. Just because you put a label on it and call it Christian. There's some great Christian schools, but there's some I'd rather go to prison and preach. You can preach for the chickens and they'll pay you more attention than them spoiled rotten kids. Amen. Well, okay, just because you're in a good church doesn't guarantee you a great outcome. Hey, I want every daddy to look up in here. Just because you're in a good church tonight and you're hearing good singing and you're hearing decent maybe preaching tonight, it doesn't guarantee you that your family ain't going to go belly up. I've heard people make statements over the years, Levi, like, I'll never do this. Bless God, man, you don't know what you'll do. You better be careful in saying, I will never. You better pray you will never. And trust God that you will never. But you be careful making them statements like that. Amen. We was aggravating Brother Freddie in the prayer room, and I probably ought to leave that alone. They was talking about, Brother Stacy told me he's getting old because he's about to have a daughter-in-law before too long. Isn't that something? And then he's going to be grandpa. I said, all them days you got mad at your mama for spoiling them kids, you're going to eat them words, boy. Amen. People say, I guarantee you my kid won't do this. You better watch out. Amen. Anyway, they had, what's the word they use on the commercials? Equal opportunity. So-and-so's an equal opportunity employer. Every one of you, under the sound of my voice tonight, you've got equal opportunity. Yes. To do right and to live for God.
Yes, sir.
Or you've got just as much of an equal opportunity to go out and sin and wreck your life. Yes, and 2 or 3 others along with you. Yes. Now, when Lot destroyed his life, I still ain't read Scripture, I promise you I will. When Lot wrecked his life, it wasn't just Lot that went down. Lot makes a decision, we're going to read it in a second, but he made a decision that changed the life of his entire family. Parents rarely walk away from God alone.
Good.
They leave carnage in their way. Sir, when you think you just got to have that woman who's so much better than your wife, I'm going to be nice tonight, Lord willing. But when you think you just got to have her, and you're putting your wants and your desires over the well-being of your little babies, your sons and your daughter, shame on you. Because when you go down, you're going to tear their little world apart. I'm going to tell you something. I've lived through it. I grew up with it. Let me just tell you something. It's not worth it. I've had 3 or 4, I don't know, stepmothers. I had a few. I know what it's all about. And I'm not beating nobody up. But I'm just saying, if you hadn't made that mistake, gone. You know what you find out? When you leave the one for the other, you find out the other ain't no better than the one you had. Anyway, we got equal opportunity to do right. I've got high hopes for some of the young men in our church. I've got high hopes for some of the young husbands in our church. I'm excited. Where's Dylan and Dixie? I brag on them probably a little too much, but I'm excited to see what God's going to do in their life. I was standing up there in that teen room preaching Friday night, and Dylan was, I don't know if he was testifying, bootlegging, preaching, I don't know what he was doing, but it sure was good. And I stood there on those steps, eavesdropping a little bit, big tears rolling down my face, and I thought, man, what a difference. What a difference there it is in him than there was just a couple of years ago. I tell you, that's God at work. I'm here to tell you the devil would like nothing more than to destroy that. Are you listening to me? The day Miss Dixie walked in this door, I knew who she was. I knew the caliber of a girl she was. And Dylan said, that's going to be my wife. I said, you dream on, folks. You know what God did? You look at me, God gave you the desire of your heart. It's a little tender for me because He did the same thing for me. I told my mother, Miss Angie would be my wife, and she was 12. God gave you the desire of your heart. What a foolish thing it would be to destroy. I've got high hopes of what God's going to do in the lives of some of these young men, some of these young women. But dads, it's pretty much in your hands. I'm going to tell you the difference in these two men and we'll baptize. Number one, the difference is in where they were looking. The difference is in where they were looking. Let's read the scripture. I never did I promise you I'm going to do it right now. Genesis 13, verse number 5. The Bible said, Lot also, which went with Abram, had flocks and herds and tents, and the land was not able to bear them. That's what you call being blessed right there. That they might dwell together, for their substance was great, so that they could not dwell together. And there was strife between the herding of Abram's cattle and the herding of Lot's cattle. And the Canaanite and the Perizzite dwelled then in the land. And Abram said unto Lot, let there be no strife, I pray thee, between me and thee, and between my herdmen and thy herdmen, for we be brethren. Is not the whole land before thee? Separate thyself, I pray thee, from me. If thou wilt take the left hand, then I will go to the right, or if thou depart to the right hand, I'll go to the left. And the Bible said, and Lot lifted up his eyes and beheld all the plain of Jordan, that it was well watered everywhere before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, even as the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt, as thou comest unto Zoar. And then Lot chose him all the plain of Jordan, and Lot journeyed east, as they separated themselves the one from the other. Abram dwelled in the land of Canaan, and Lot dwelled in the cities of the plain, and pitched his tent towards Sodom. But notice verse 13. But the men of Sodom were wicked and sinners before the Lord exceedingly. Lot had a choice. Abraham's the elder, and Abraham says, Lot, whichever way you want. You pick, I'll take what's left. The difference is in where these two men were looking. Lot looked toward Sodom. Let me tell you where you're going, men. Look up here. Look up here real good. I'm going to tell you where you're headed, where you're looking.
Amen. That's right.
You're headed where you're looking. I remember my grandfather taught me how to plow. Sitting on a tractor. I remember the first furrow I dug down through there, the first row I made, it was crooked as a dog's hind leg. My granddaddy come over there and put his hand on the hood of the tractor and he said, let me tell you your problem, son. You're looking where you're at instead of where you're going. He said, when you make this next round, pick you out a spot at the other end of the field and you drive that tractor straight to that spot. I got down the other end, I looked back and I thought, well, mulch and brood. I wound up where I was going because I was looking where I was going. If you're going to have a family that lives for God and serves God and kids, it turns out right, hey, you're going to have to look that direction. But if you got your eyes on the world and the things of the world and your eyes on sin and all the junk out there, hey, that's where you're headed to. Lot had his eyes on Sodom. Do you get the idea that Lot probably knew what kind of place that was? in Charles got to help me. Ohio, Cincinnati. We were in Cincinnati, Ohio just a few weeks ago. Me and Brother Charles and our wives together. And my wife wanted to go see some bridge and walk across the bridge. We went and walked across that bridge. But we was walking around that city, and I was looking at that inner city. And them houses, how they live. They weren't houses, they were apartments, or whatever you want to call it. I was looking around that, and I thought, man, there ain't no way I'd live here. We ain't 40 minutes from Atlanta, and there ain't no way I'd live down there either. I don't see how they do it. Honest before the Lord, I don't. I don't think it's a good place to raise a kid. Amen. I guarantee you Lot knew when he moved down there, that wasn't the place to take them girls. Are we okay? The difference is where they were looking. Lot was looking at what would benefit him. Abraham was looking at what would please the Lord. Makes a big difference where you're looking. I ask you a question tonight, Dad. Where are you looking? Where are you looking? When Levi was little, he's always been smart. He never had to study in school. He made straight A's. I mean, he's just always had a good mind. And when he was little, I used to pray. Pray that he'd do something and be real successful and be rich. And buy me a boat. Amen. 69 Camaro. No, seriously, I did. I prayed the Lord to bless him and do something great with his life. But as he began to get older, I started looking in another direction. And I started looking at maybe what God would want to do in his life. Finally dawned on me one day, I'd rather have him preaching the gospel and poor as a snake and being in the will of God with my daughter and all my grandbabies. And I had him living down here in Mirror Lake on the 18th floor of the golf course and living wicked and in sin, and my grandbabies growing up and not knowing God. Hey, I'm telling you, it depends on where you're looking. I'll never forget when he was in high school, he had thought about joining the military. One year during camp meeting, Brother Fisher was here. I said, Levi, I asked Brother Fisher what he thinks about you joining the military. Brother Fisher, I knew what he was going to say. But you know, Levi had the idea Brother Fisher was 4th Recon Commander and all that big stuff. He's a big-time Marine. Brother Fisher asked him, or Levi asked Brother Fisher what he thought about him going in the military. Brother Fisher said, why? He said, didn't you tell me one time you thought God called you to preach? Why you waiting? What he's saying, you're looking in the wrong direction. If God's got a plan for your life, it ain't that way. Amen. Where are you looking tonight? You know what I'm looking at now? Brother Jesse, I'm not old by any means, but I'm 54. I'm a lot older than I was when I came here in my 20s. When I came here in my 20s, I was looking. I'll tell you where I was looking. I was looking at getting started. I was looking at the Lord helping me to build a church and seeing souls saved. Seeing teenagers get on fire for God. That's where I was looking. And I'm still looking that direction, but I'm looking toward the end now. Amen. I'm looking at who might take my place one day. Hayden, that'd be a good job for you, bud. Where are you looking? I'm going to tell you where you're headed. You're headed exactly where you're looking. You're headed exactly where you're looking. There was a big difference in where these two men looked. There was a big difference in where their lives wound up. The difference was where they were looking. Not only that, secondly, where they were living. Where they were living. Big contrast between where they were living. Lot lived in Sodom, in the middle of wickedness, steeped in homosexuality. Don't you remember when the angels came to visit Lot? Was trying to save their hide and get them out of town. And them men came. They didn't want the daughters. They wanted them men that came in. What they didn't know is they really didn't want them men. They didn't want no part of them angels. Amen. Anyway, Lot said, "Here, take my daughter." You know what he said? "Here, just take my daughter. Don't fool with these guys. Whatever you do, don't fool with these guys. Take my girl. We don't want them girls. We want them men." Lot was living in the middle of wickedness. He said, "Preacher, what do I do if I'm living in wickedness?" Move! I'm not just talking about geographically, I'm talking about you, your lifestyle. I was in a church member's house one day, Levi, and I'm looking, sit there here tonight. I was in a church member's house one day, visiting. I walked in, and I'm sitting there trying to talk to the man. His little boy's sitting on the couch behind me, and the wickedest mess on TV, like a Victoria's Secret commercial. And I was like, "Dear Lord, man, could you turn that?" Didn't faze him one bit.
Come on, brother. Yeah. Great.
Oh, well, I'm just saying, where you living?
Yeah.
If that stuff don't bother you, something's wrong. I wonder how many of you, but if you were sitting at home on a Monday night and somebody knocked on your door and you opened the door and there's 3 or 4 men and 3 or 4 women in their underwear, said, "Can we come around and just walk around for your kid?" You'd probably say, "No, not tonight." Are we okay? What's the difference? We got to watch where we're living. We got to watch not just where we're living, but how we're living. You know what? Abraham's life never changed, Brother Fred. He kept doing what he had done days and days before and years before. He kept following the Lord. He kept obeying the Lord. Lot went a totally different direction. Hey, you know what he did? He changed his whole lifestyle. I worry about our young men when they graduate high school. We talked about it at camp, Brother Charles. That's usually where we lose them. When they graduate high school and they get a little bit of freedom, they got to go take a walk on the wild side. I'll tell you something, there ain't nothing for you on the wild side. There wasn't nothing for Lot and Sodom, and there ain't nothing for you in Atlanta. Amen. Stay with Jesus. Stay with Jesus. Michael, lead that girl in the right direction. Stay with Jesus. Watch God bless your life and what He can do. Don't let it become an illustration that I'll have to use around the country sometimes with tears running down my face. Talking about how a young preacher with so much potential destroyed his life. The difference was where they were looking. Remember when we were little? Brother Charles, we sung that song, "Oh, be careful, little eyes, what you see. Oh, be careful, little eyes, what you see. How it go? Oh, the Father up above is looking down at us. So be careful, little eyes, what you see." Listen to me. You don't get tempted by something you've never seen. I'm just going to leave that there. Be careful where you're looking, please. There's a difference between looking and lusting. What you're guilty of is you look too long. I told that story. I can't get off that point, Brother Perry. I'm trying. I told that illustration before about driving down 75. I said it in Kentucky years ago. And I don't know if it's still popular, but it was right after Hooters came out, the restaurant. I'm driving down 75 all by myself, and there's a billboard with the poster child for the restaurant. You know what it said? You know what it said? It didn't say nothing about the restaurant, nothing. Big old letters. Made you look. Oh, it made me mad. I wanted to stop at the next Home Depot, buy a chainsaw, go back and cut that sign. Yes, sir. I looked up that sign and I went, ugh. Be careful where you're looking. Be careful where you're living. The difference was where these men were looking, where they were living. Number 3, almost done. Where they were leading. Where they were leading. Whether you believe it or not, you're leading your family, sir. This business of do as I say, not as I do, that don't cut it. I love my mother with all my heart. For years, she smoked cigarettes. She don't now. She quit years ago. But she did. Back in the day, everybody smoked. They smoked on the airplane. They smoked everywhere. Choke you absolutely to death. But I remember my mother saying, "You ever touch one of these? I'll break your leg." You know what I did when I got to be a teenager? Started slipping around smoking. I remember this little boy saying, "Oh man, that's nasty. I won't never do that." Young men grow up with a drunkard for a daddy, and they'll swear, "I'll never do that when I get grown," and they wind up walking right in this place. What I'm trying to say is we are leading our families whether we realize it or not. You know what your little boy wants to be, sir? He wants to be you. And whatever you do, he thinks is all right.
Right, preach from.
Right.
Abraham led his family in such a way that when Isaac came along, he obeyed his daddy's words.
Right.
Did exactly what his daddy told him. His life turned out pretty awesome.
Yes.
Lot couldn't even get his kids out of town.
Right.
Right.
Lot wound up in a cave drunk with his 2 girls, having relations with them both, and children by them both. What a mess! Where are you leading your family? You say, "My family will never wind up like that." It probably won't, I'm sure. But it can wind up just as bad. You can wind up raising a grandbaby.
Come on, brother.
I love my grandbabies with all my heart. You can bring them to the house, but you got to come back and get them. Amen. After we get plenty of chocolate in them and gummy bears and milkshake. Amen. After a couple of days, I'm ready for them to go home. I'm just cutting up, seriously. Where are you leaving? Where are you leaving? Have you ever thought about this statement? Or have you ever asked yourself this question? Would I be okay if my son turned out just like me?
Amen.
It's a hard question, isn't it? I'm not okay. I want my boys to do more than I've done. I want to see God use him way more than God ever began to use him. Amen. Where are you living? Where are you living? Where are you living? Where are you living? Last and I'm done. What's going to be your legacy? What's going to be your legacy? These 2 men are very much remembered. Don't have to get in front of a crowd of people who've been in church long at all and them not know who they were going to be. It's all long. And they both left a legacy. Whatever Lot ever did before, he left Uncle Abraham. Nobody talks about that. We don't talk about that he's successful as a cattleman, successful rancher, whatever you want to call it, herder. We don't talk about the money that he made and the wealth that he gained. When we think about Lot, his legacy is this: incest. Bad seed. Is it okay to say that? 2 nations born out of it. Then we think about Abraham. His legacy was a son who respected his father and loved him. Followed God. Where are you looking? Where are you living? Where are you leading? What's going to be your legacy? When I'm gone, I heard a story And I won't say who it is because I got great respect, but there's no preacher. He's a hero of mine. He's in heaven. Love him with all my heart. Love to hear him preach. But he was our kind, just old-fashioned, real story. Matter of fact, he had. He's an old happy preacher. If I said his name, everybody knows who it is. Known worldwide. He had 2 boys. God called them to preach too. And they're good men, but just a little different soul. When their daddy died, Brother Charles, they didn't even want his outline. Brother Scott Matthews, the job. Probably got 1,000, 1,500 in the briefcase. Joe Walker offered him a pile of money for him. He turned his daddy. I hope when I'm gone, my boy will treasure what I have. I hope he'll treasure or have a desire to be a little bit of what his daddy was, maybe even way more. Let's leave a lot, kind of legacy behind. Let me tell you something. My boy ain't never seen me strike my wife. I did it with the doors closed. You know I'm lying because I'm standing here. Say amen, Brother Charles. We married God. We know. The woman that killed me. He never seen me mistreated. That's the grace of God. You ought to set some boundaries in your life. Where you live? Where you live? Where you leave? What's your legacy going to be? You're leaving something behind. You're leaving something behind, and the thing is, it may be a long time before you're gone, but you're building it now. Your legacy, you're working on that every day you live right now. You can't wait till you're 50 and say, all right, I'm going to do right. Thank God some people have got saved at an older age, but man, you need to start now. You're building your legacy now. You know what your children are going to remember most? What you were when they were young. When they lived in your house. Amen. Let's stand up, people. The tale of 2 fathers. Which story is yours? Thank God you're still writing. It can still turn out wonderful. I want to ask, is Mary Beth out there? Oh, they're busy now. Y'all come back. I want them to sing a little bit. And Miss Stacy, if you come, I want that. They're going to give an invitation to Brother Charles will. But I want those who are being baptized to meet Stacy right over here at this door, on your right and my left. And we'll come up and get ready. You're getting baptized tonight, so right over there. We'll charge you first. Let's mind the Lord, church.
And then before they sing, let me say this. If you'll read the end of that story, when he had that incest relationship with those 2 ladies, I say ladies, you know what came from that? 2 of the most hated nations. Yes. The Moabites and Ammonites. Worst enemies that Israel ever had. I'd hate to leave that kind of a legacy, wouldn't you? But let me say, I appreciate the message tonight. I appreciate the straightforwardness of it and how that everything Brother Eddie said, hey, friends, is true. And as they sing, or lays it on your heart to come, won't you come? Whatever you need to do tonight, you know, you just come. Amen. Y'all say that.
I am thine, O Lord. I have heard thy voice. You told thy love to me. But I long to rise in the arms of faith and be closer drawn to thee. Draw me nearer, dear blessed Lord, to the cross where thou hast died. Draw me nearer, dear blessed Lord, to thy precious bleeding side. There are depths that I cannot know till I cross the narrow sea. There are heights of joy that I may not reach till I rest in peace with thee. Draw me nearer, dear blessed Lord, to the cross where thou hast died. Draw me nearer, dear blessed Lord, to thy precious bleeding side. Consecrate me now to thy service, Lord, by the power of grace divine. Let my soul look up with a steadfast hope, and I will be lost in thine. Draw me nearer, dear blessed Lord, to the cross where thou hast died. Draw me nearer, dear blessed Lord, to thy precious bleeding side.
Well, we got some people praying. I hope that you received that message tonight. And it's good for all of us, even us older ones. I'm not in heaven yet, church. Sin is still sin, isn't it? And years ago, I heard an expression about sin. There's sin below the belt and sins above the belt. You get that? So, hey, pretty well two types of sin out there. So I tell you what, class and church, we better stay close to God in these last days. The devil's getting more realer and realer. And I tell you what, even when some of these people that are older, when they fall into sin and fall, brother, that shows you how strong the devil is and how real it is. Oh, thank God that we can live close to the Lord. Amen. And see Him unashamed one of these days. Amen. All right. Brother, just got another one. Brother, son. We'll enjoy them while we have them. Amen. Go ahead and have a seat.
And we feel that no one cares. It's so hard to find somebody just to sit out and talk and share about the things that God has promised, the things that He will be. In this song that I am singing, it says what He means to me. He's my lighthouse, He's my bridge over troubled water, He's the ocean residing out on the raging sea.
and baptized some of the Lord's new babies. Amen. Yes. And I thank God we don't use our baptistry for a planter. Amen. We keep running pretty regular. And I thank the Lord it's an honor to be able to get to do what we do. Amen. Part of these people's lives. Amen. It's local. It's our youth pastor's son. Since the day they come here, he's just got attached to me and my buddies. And I hope it stays like that. I hope he never grows out of the preacher being his buddies. Amen. I hope he got saved, didn't he, buddy? The preacher baptized him. I counted on. I call him Cupcake. You don't do that. Because he loves cupcakes, he calls me Cupcake. Amen. Our Father, obedience to thy holy command, upon this my brother, profession of faith in thee, I baptize him in the name of the Father, of the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Amen. And I believe this month, this fifth Sunday, I believe Calvary, they'll be bringing their Sunday night service here. Our choir will be singing, Levi will be preaching. I'm looking forward to that. So, but it sure was good to have y'all tonight. Let's stand our feet all over the house. Levi, you pray this minute. And don't forget, we're not having service here Wednesday night. We're going to Springdale and Rock Park. If you need directions, call me.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for the service tonight, for the baptism of the